it's like, I heard some shit about he has clothes on or something. I don't know. Like, I don't really know if all this is true, but I just heard parts like, I'm like, what happened to my guy?
Right.
And then they come out with the official. It was a mixture of some stuff, the prescription and something else or something that I don't really know. But with me, I never really heard something that would give that closure for me. I never really heard anything tangible or true, like what happened to my guy.
Then our life just went to having Christian, him going to jail, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna stick with him through this, through this, help however I can. And we decided then we were gonna get married.
Before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Now, let's get into it. So look, there's been a long-standing theory tied to Pimp C's passing that's always raised eyebrows. A lot of folks believe his death might have had something to do with a certain infamous tape he allegedly had, one involving Beyoncé. And word on the street is that Jay-Z wasn't about to let that tape see the light of day.
Who was in this Pimp C tape?
All I can tell you, there was a famous R&B chick, and it was a guy that was getting money at the time. And, Pimp, he used to be in the studio. And every now and then he'd have a camcorder, so he was able to get some footage. And he wanted to do something with the footage, but I don't know why he didn't do nothing with it, but if I could have got a hold of that tape, I'd be a billionaire, man. Whoever it was, they would have to kill me, man. I know TMZ would have paid a bank for that one, man. But yeah, it is a tape, and if you read the comments, a lot of people figured out. Okay. A lot of people figured out because, people that was in Houston at the time, they know who was a little loose.
Now, allegedly, Pimp C's wife, Chinara Butler, has stepped into the conversation. And from everything being said online, she too suspects that something suspicious went down. In fact, whispers across social media are pointing to Chinara gearing up to drop a bombshell tell-all. And baby, it's got everyone giving Beyoncé the side-eye.
Then our life just went to having Christian, him going to jail, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna stick with him through this, through this, help however I can. And we decided then we were gonna get married.
If the rumors are to be believed, Chinara's sitting on information that points to Bey possibly living a much wilder life back in the day than most people knew. There's even speculation that she and Pimp C were more than just acquaintances. And if any of that turns out to be true, this might just be the spiciest industry tea in a minute. Now, let's rewind a bit.
And she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls.
Back in 1987, Pimp C and Bun B teamed up in Port Arthur, Texas, and formed UGK, Underground Kings. They started small, signing with an independent label called Big Time Records, and dropped 2 EPs, The Southern Way and Band, in 1992, which gave them some regional buzz. That success got them picked up by Jive Records later that same year. By 1994, UGK released their second album, Super Tight, and it started to put them on the map, hitting number 95 on the Billboard 200 and climbing to number 9 on the R&B hip-hop charts. 2 years later in '96, they really broke through with Ridin' Dirty. That album hit number 2 on the R&B hip-hop charts and reached number 15 on the Billboard 200. After that came a short pause in their music around the late 90s. But UGK came roaring back in 2000, showing up on Jay-Z's Big Pimpin', which hit number 18 on the Billboard 200, and 3 6 Mafia's Sippin' on Some Syrup, which peaked at number 30 on the R&B hip-hop chart. These tracks took UGK's reputation to the next level. But things took a dark turn in 2002 when Pimp C was sentenced to 8 years behind bars, which once again stalled the group's run and pushed both Bun B and Pimp into their solo lanes. Pimp C's first solo album, The Sweet James Jones Stories, dropped in March 2005 using tracks he recorded before doing time. Once he got out in December 2005, he followed up with Pimpalation in July 2006. That album did numbers, reaching number 3 on the Billboard 200 and claiming the top spot on the R&B/hip-hop albums chart. But then came the tragic news. In December 2007, while staying at the Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood, working on music and doing shows with Too Short, Pimp C suddenly passed away. He was meant to catch a flight home that morning. Chinara, his wife, who had married him during his sentence in 2003, was at the airport with his cousin, waiting. When they didn't hear from him, Chinara called the hotel and asked them to check on him. That's when hotel staff found him unresponsive in his room. Paramedics were called, but it was too late. He was gone. The coroner ruled it accidental, citing complications from drinking lean, mixed with his sleep apnea, but not everyone bought that story. See, ever since that day, fans and close friends have questioned the official narrative. The big rumor? That Jay-Z may have had something to do with his death, because Pimp was allegedly threatening to leak that infamous tape with Beyoncé. Even DJ Paul from 3 6 Mafia hinted something felt off. He said Pimp's manager told him that when they found the body, it looked like he was in a praying position, but there was blood around. They thought maybe he was hit in the head. The room had burned out candles and signs that he'd been dead for at least a day. And those candles, Pimp always lit them before he slept. Too Short also spoke on the situation. In an interview with Hip Hop DX, he said, "I can't believe it's 10 years. And I have never till this day been able to accept the circumstances. That's a lot of these little weird situations with folks getting found in hotel rooms. And they always be by themselves in a hotel somewhere in some strange. And I'm just like, what the hell is going on with celebrities in hotel rooms? Checking the 27 Club? You know what that is." The thing is, Pimp C and Jay-Z already had some tension. In an episode of The Art of Dialogue, record executive Greg Taylor recounted an awkward moment that went down during negotiations for Big Pimpin'. Apparently, when Jay-Z's team cut $1 million check for UGK, Pimp C wasn't feeling it. "We set it up, a meeting to go meet with Dame Dash. So after I leave Jive, I go to Rock. As soon as I sit down there, Dame Dash opened up his checkbook, cut a check for $1 million. I'm like, whoa. He like, is this for sure? He was like, no, we want UGK. I was like, what? He was like, we want your boys. That's right. So I immediately picked up the phone and called Pimp C. Cause all I was trying to get was $100,000. When Dame cut that $1 million, I called Pimp on the phone like, yo, Pimp. And Jamal was in the house and I could hear a tussle or some type of confrontation, right? And I'm like, calm down, bro. Y'all calm down. I ran up to Cable Bill. They was fighting, okay? They was fighting, like hard. And I'm like, Phil, stop whatever you're doing right now. I told you what was going down with Jamal, where you moved him up in there. I said, but right now, I got $1 million check for you. All we wanted was $100,000. I was just like, who is that with? I said, with Rockefeller. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. He was like, man, tell him to take that check and go give it to Tupac's mama, man. He's gonna be stealing all my shit. I was like, what? Why Pimp said that? Nobody knows. But it says a lot about the vibes between him and Jay-Z. Now, when it comes to Beyoncé, there was an incident that Bun B once shared. Apparently, Pimp C, Bun B, and Beyoncé were all in the studio filming a video. Jay-Z called in during the shoot, asking who was present. When he found out Beyoncé was in something skimpy and surrounded by a bunch of dudes, including Pimp, he lost it. So he's like, wait a minute, how many dudes are there? And she's like, oh, it's about 9 or 10 guys, I guess, over there. Where are they now? They're in here. They're in the soundstage. They're kind of watching her film. What is she wearing? They describe the outfit, and he's like, yo, clear the room. Wow. So they immediately come over to us and they kick all of us out and send us up to our dressing rooms. And we're told to stay there until we have to shoot. Okay, we're not allowed to watch Beyoncé dance anymore in the video? Then there's the other story Bun told about how Beyoncé's dad had to ask Pimp C not to mess around with his daughter. Hanging out and Matthew Knowles comes in and he asks Pimp, can I talk to you for a minute? And so they leave out for a couple of minutes. And Pimp comes in and he's dying laughing. And we're like, what's wrong? He's like, yo, Matthew Knowles just told me, don't fuck the daughter, man. Please don't. Please, my daughter. There were already rumors flying back then that Jay-Z didn't want Pimp around Beyoncé because of how wild her rep allegedly was at the time. And apparently, it wasn't just about the fellas. Some say Beyoncé was experimenting with women too. Remember when Amil said Beyoncé was in love with her? Amil, the rapper who worked with Bey on I Got That? Now, you can't find that interview anywhere anymore. But people believe that might be part of why Amil's career vanished. Lady Gaga also made a comment once after working with Beyoncé on the telephone video. We had an amazing time working together on her video, and it just kind of works out because we both like women. Now, maybe Gaga meant Beyoncé just supports women, but the way people took it, completely different. There was also this report back in the day about Beyoncé being spotted at the box with 3 of her girls watching a burlesque show. Allegedly, she was up on the VIP balcony cheering as 2 dancers licked each other's feet, stayed until 3:30 a.m. One story, also wiped from the internet, claimed a girl once sat on Bey's lap in the club, and Beyoncé leaned in and said, "Don't start something you can't finish." And let's not forget the talk about her suspiciously close bond with her female guitarist back in her touring days. Point is, there's been a lot of chatter about Bey's old days. And if a tape involving her and Pimp C really exists, that would explain why so many believe his death wasn't accidental. Now, allegedly, Chinara Butler might be sitting on more than just memories. She's hinted she's got stories that could mess up entire legacies. And if even a piece of that involves Beyoncé, it could get messy. But then again, if this tape is real, wouldn't that put Pimp C in the wrong? Because filming someone, especially without consent, or if she wasn't of age, could ruin his image too. So honestly, why is all of this bubbling up again now? I don't know, y'all. I really don't. But what do you think? Drop your thoughts down in the comments section below. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching. Let us know your thoughts. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.